Is it harder to raise $25 million to make a film, or is it harder to raise $1 or $2 million for a smaller film?
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye.
The answer is easy. It's harder to raise $1 million than $25 million. I'm just saying there's a prejudice against films under $1 million.
We are live with Miss Erica Huggins, former member of the Black Panther Party Central Committee and also the director of the community school. Miss Huggins, I thought you had one of the most provocative statements in this new film, Black Panther Vanguard. You said that it was like an elephant. Can you tell the people why did you use that analogy and what exactly was the analogy you used?
Well, what I said was that if all of us gathered around an elephant, we would not, each of us would have a different impression if we were blind, let's say, of what the nature of the elephant is and what it is in its entirety. And in talking about the Black Panther Party, most of us can only talk about the Black Panther Party we were in. We knew that we joined an organization with a particular set of principles and a platform, but the way we experienced being members is different. And what most people are used to is a romanticized version of the Black Panther Party, which is not what it was. There was nothing romantic about it. And so that's what I meant.
Another thing that was very controversial about the film that I think Stanley, we asked Stanley about it, and a lot of the showings in the Bay Area in particular asked about Huey. And there is a lot of controversy about how the film ended, and I know you was a part of that ending. Why do you feel it should have been placed there, and do you feel that's an essential story that needs to be told?
I feel that people like yourself and our friend behind the camera should make their own films.
Right.
What one person does with the film is what they can do, and we can be accountable and responsible for our own films. I think that Huey was, that's what I meant about the elephant. Huey was to different people, different things. And I can't say where something should be placed in someone else. It wasn't my film.
If you didn't come here for breakfast, would you be getting the same kind of good breakfast at home?
No. 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 No.
I'm here live. We're at the premiere, the Oakland, or I should say the Piedmont premiere of Black Panther's Vanguard of the Revolution. I'm here with the legendary Panther, Steve Chop McClutchin. He was the martial arts teacher for the Panthers, and he also worked at the Panther Community School. Chop, how did you feel about the movie? What did you like, or if there is anything you didn't like, what is it?
Okay, first of all, in terms of liking the movie, JR, the movie is a great leap forward in terms of producing and introducing a correct statement about the history and legacy of the Black Panther Party. So that was there. The interviews and narratives showing the early and intermediate history of the party, that's important because it corrects some of the mistaken ideas about the Black Panther Party.
Like what mistaken ideas do you feel like it corrects?
Some of the ideas about that the party was a violent organization. It showed specifically that the party was interested in self-defense based on the issues of survival, the survival programs, the community survival programs. It showed also that the armed patrols of the Black Panther Party were entirely legal, and that the armed patrols were only one facet, matter of fact, the first survival program of the Black Panther Party. That was one thing that Stanley Nelson did try to convey. He didn't have enough time to completely display that part of that stage of the Black Panther Party, but he did make the best effort to date about the history of the Black Panther Party.
What made it different from other Panther films? You know, there's a number of Panther films about individuals, some about particular chapters. I only know of All Power to the People, which is a general one about the party similar to this. What made this film particularly special?
Again, Stanley Nelson and his crew, they did the documentary work. They made the effort to go into depth to interview former party members on both sides, and they did contact people who were opposed to the Black Panther Party. So this way people could get...
Right, they had police
Right.
involved in the film.
Right. So you saw the opposition as well as the those who were protagonists in the corner of the Black Panther Party.
Right.
Again, he did not have enough time to get through the entire history of the Black Panther Party. But what he did delve into the history of the party and began to show people a more concrete description of the Black Panther Party. This is where no one has gone before.
For the young people in particular that are watching this, why is the Black Panther Party even worth the documentary? What made the Black Panther Party important to the politics of black people in America? What made it important to the American politics of the oppressed? What is it about the Black Panther Party that deserves to be studied over and over again?
One thing you have to remember, at the time of the Black Panther Party in 1966, the Black Panther Party had come in when during the Civil Rights era, when black people had been trying to follow the laws of the land, trying to participate in the movement of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SCLC, CORE, and the other organizations, the NAACP, all of the other organizations, all of the other community efforts to uplift the conditions of black and poor people here in this country. The Black Panther Party stepped in. The immediate problem in most black communities were the issues of police brutality and the failure to address the conditions that black people lived under on a daily basis. When Huey and Bobby said that particularly after the uprisings in Newark, Detroit, and other cities around the country, they said we need to take a step that the civil rights movement, the other civil rights people are not taking. They had to address needs that were not being recognized in particular. So they went to the communities in North Oakland. They talked to people in North Oakland, and they found that there were certain particular questions that had to be addressed. This was the development of the 10-point program of the Black Panther Party. This is what took the Black Panther Party beyond where the traditional civil rights activities have been. We overleaped what had been done. We were light years ahead of everyone else.
We want freedom, we want power to determine the destiny of our black community. Full employment for our people. We want housing decent housing fit for shelter of human beings. We want all black men to be exempt from military service. We want decent education for our black people in our community. We want an end to the robbery by the white racist businessmen of black people and black people in their community. We want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people. We want all black men held in county, state, federal jails and prisons to be released because they have not had a fair trial, because they've been tried by all white juries, and that's just like being tried in Germany being a Jew. Brought to trial to be tried by members of their peers. We want housing, we want clothing, we want education, we want justice, and we want
Chop, in particular, how important were the Panthers to black culture? I mean, I talked to Stanley a little bit. He talked about how the civil rights movement, they were in suits and ties, and it was a church movement. The Black Panther movement was an urban ghetto movement, but it wasn't suits and ties. It was afros, it was leather coats. But besides even that, you guys changed up the music. You guys even gave each other government names, such as the Minister of Culture, the Minister of Information. What did the Black Panther Party do culturally for the black community?
One, remember, Jay, it was the Black Panther Party, not the Black Panther movement. Okay. And first of all, we didn't give people government titles. We assigned areas of responsibility. This was what, at the national level, the Minister of Defense, Huey P. Newton, Chairman, Bobby Seale. At the state levels, we had deputy ministers. At the local levels, we had captains and lieutenants. These were just areas of responsibility to define what each member, each cadre or committee was supposed to do in terms of their respective areas of organizing, educating, and mobilizing the community. How it changed the culture, it helped enable and empower black people to see themselves through a new lens. As black people began to see themselves through a new lens that defined their static positions, previously static positions in the black community, they became more empowered and they became willing to support the programs that looked out for their best interests and needs.
I know that you worked particularly at the community school. The community school was a legendary place. I mean, I'm still hearing about some of the things that these charter schools are still trying to catch up to the Black Panther Party with. Everything from the healthy eating and the fresh food to community gardens to you had people like Rosa Parks and Maya Angelou, Richard Pryor coming through there, and this was at the height of their fame. What you guys did yoga, you taught Spanish. I mean, what did you do in particular at the community school, and why is the community school and the legacy of the community school important?
One, it was Huey's idea based on point number 5 of our 10-point programming platform, that we need a decent education for our people. And based on that idea, originally, the liberation schools, which came as part of our lunch program, that was the initial basis for the Oakland Community School. And when we had the opportunity to expand that facility so it became open to the community outside of children of the Black Panther Party, this opportunity actually became the gateway for what is today's, the prototype for today's charter schools. The curriculum that we developed, it was all created by members of the Black Panther Party and by staff members who were brought into the Oakland Community School outside of the Black Panther Party. In 1976, the Oakland Community School was awarded a certificate of recognition and honor in Sacramento at the time when Joey Brown was governor. We took the children of the Oakland Community School there to Sacramento to receive that award, and Joey Brown eventually visited the Oakland Community School to see what the Oakland Community School had to offer. What we did in terms of moving children from being labeled as unacceptable and EMR in terms of traditional public schools.
When you say EMR, what is that?
Educable mentally retarded. We had a number of students who had been thrown out of their former elementary schools, students who other schools deemed with behavior problems, that they were unable to learn. We brought these children and their families into our environment. These children began to blossom. They began to blossom and develop.
What was it?
What was what?
What was it about the public school system where they couldn't function, and what was it about the Black Panther school system that allowed them to flourish?
We had considered that the curriculum of the traditional Oakland public school systems taught children how to think, taught them what to think, taught them what to learn.
The Black Panthers.
Black Panther? The Black Panther Party.
Black Panther movement.
The Black Panthers were absolutely unique.
Being black in America meant that you didn't walk down the street with the same sense of safety and the sense of privilege as a white person. Attack dogs, fire hoses.
Police jump on you, beat you up, put the gun at your head. This is what we were going through on a daily basis.
We stand on the eve of a black revolution, brothers.
Now we have voices within the community that we're not going to continue to turn the other cheek.
We want black power. We want black power.
The Second Amendment guarantees the citizen a right to bear arms on public property.
We're going to carry our guns and we're going to follow the police. We're going to maintain a legal distance, ready to throw down if necessary.
Anyone who would approve of this kind of demonstration must be out of their mind.
Don't get yourself. That's what I need.
These racist Gestapo pigs have to stop brutalizing our community or we're going to drive them out.
The majority of the rank and file are women.
We tried to change some of the clear gender roles. Women had guns
guns, and men cooked breakfast for children. The way we walked and talked and dressed, we were a phenomenon.
The Black Panthers really understood the media. They used us to their advantage.
Chairman of the Black Panther Party, and here he is.
They tapped the phones. The phone is probably hooked up to the White House.
You read the Black Panther Party newspaper?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because I'm black and I'm proud.
The FBI wanted to destroy the Panthers.
How about justice? Justice is incidental to law and order.
This was all-out attack on the Black Panther Party. Every significant office is going to be raided, bombed, shot, mass arrests.
They were coming to kill us.
When the 15-minute gun battle was over, 2 Black Panthers were dead.
This was obviously a political assassination.
It was like a slaughterhouse.
We were doing fundraisers at places like Jane Fonda's townhouse so that we could raise money for the Legal Defense Fund.
There were 156 not guilty verdicts. It's astonishing.
We don't hate nobody because of their color. We hate oppression.
We refer to ourselves as the Vanguard. We wanted the entire community to follow.
I feel free. I feel absolutely free. You understand? That's what I feel.
We are live at the Piedmont premiere of Black Panthers, Vanguard of the Revolution. I'm here with Dr. Brown of Merritt College, the head of the AFRAM department, African American Studies department. Davey D, the hip hop journalist, hosted the Q&A with Stanley Nelson. What did you think of the film?
I thought this film was amazing.
I think it's a good movie. I mean, obviously there's a lot that, you know, if you know about the Panthers, there's a lot of gaps and things like that, but I think it's essential watching, and I think people that have a sense of history, it's a great opportunity for them to fill the gaps.
It's the Minister of Information, JR. We are live at Landmark Theater in Piedmont. I'm here with the legendary filmmaker, Stanley Nelson. He just dropped his new film, Black Panther, Vanguard of the Revolution, and he is in town doing Q&As at different screenings. So we caught up with him to ask him a few questions. Stanley, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for coming out and doing this with us. Can you tell us a little bit, what inspired you to do a film about the Black Panther Party?
Well, I think a couple of things. I felt that there really wasn't a film about the party. There have been, you know, films about individual Panthers or films where the Panthers kind of figured in, but I didn't think there was really a film about the Panthers, and I wanted to do that. And also, you know, I was 15 or so when the Panthers came into being, so Panthers were something that I had lived with. But also, you know, as a filmmaker, I thought that there were great music, great pictures, great stock footage, and also that there were Panthers who were still alive. You know, they're getting older now, and you know, this might be a really good chance to get those Panthers, you know, before that story was lost.
Talk a little bit about how did you choose the culture of the Panther, or the history of the Panthers is so rich. You have people like Bunchy Carter, people like George Jackson, people like Afeni Shakur, Assata Shakur, Huey Newton, Bobby Seale, some of which you carry in the film. How did you decide which Panther stories you wanted to tell in the film and which Panther stories would be part of the Vanguard story and which ones you would leave out?
Well, you know, we knew at the beginning that we only had 2 hours and that we couldn't tell everything about the Panther movement. So we tried to choose stories that kind of help move the story forward and made the story go forward. So there's, you know, other stories that kind of like were like this branch off of this tree, but then, you know, that branch came back and you were still in the same place. So we're really trying to tell stories that kind of move this narrative forward. I hope that makes sense.
I definitely understand. How did you choose the music? I think the music in the film from the era that didn't include the Panthers, as well as Panther songs. Did you know of this before the film, or did you come across a lot of these songs?
Yeah, well, you know, I chose all the music to the film myself, and I just listened to a lot of music. We knew, you know, that the music of that era was special. So you were hearing music about revolution. You were hearing music like, you know, Black is me, Black is you, am I black enough for you? You know, you were hearing all that music on the radio. Right. And we wanted to give a sense of, you know, that you were in a different time. Right. When people were talking about that stuff on the radio. So, you know, a lot of it, you know, we chose because of that. But also, I listened to a lot of music from the era because we wanted some of that music to be more, not as famous. You know, we wanted some of the songs to be like, oh my God, you know, people say like, what's that? I never heard that song. So I listened to a lot of music from that era and just kept, you know, I would just listen. And when I kind of liked something, I'd put it on a playlist. I had a Panther playlist, and I had a long Panther playlist, then I had another Panther Select playlist that, you know, and then I would just listen, and tried to work music in as much as we could.
That was one of my favorite parts of the film. Another part of the film that I really thought was important, I saw a lot of the Panther films, but I've never seen a Panther film that had a large number of the women leadership. Usually it'll be Erica Huggins or it might be Kathleen, but you have Kathleen Cleaver, you have Erica Huggins, as well as other women leaders in the Black Panther Party. What pushed you to show that aspect or the feminine story of the Black Panther Party?
Well, I think, you know, we knew early on that we really wanted to tell the story of women in the Panthers a little bit more than is normal. And then once, you know, somebody said to us, well, did you know that the Panthers by 1970s were majority female? Then we were like, okay, so we really got to concentrate on that. And I should say the other thing that we wanted to do in general was to have the film deal with what's called the rank and file of the Panthers. Like not just the leaders, but, you know, we wanted to have to concentrate in some ways on the people, you know, who
made it happen.
Yeah, who made it happen, who were like the worker bees. You know,
doubt.
they were not the people who were up there, they were not on TV, but you know, we wanted to tell their story. Like why did somebody join the Panthers? Why did somebody stay in the Panthers? What did they do, you know, as a Black Panther? And then why did they ultimately leave? And so we really wanted the story to be, some of the story to be told by the rank and file.
What did you learn from doing this film? I mean, I know you're from the era, and I'm sure you were familiar with a lot of these people personally, even before you did the film. What did you learn from the film, although you're from the era?
I learned so much. I mean, one, you know, I wasn't clear on how young the Panthers were. That they were basically teenagers, you know, 19, 20 was probably the average age. That I didn't know. The fact that women, you know, made up the majority of the Black Panthers at some points, I didn't know. The fact, you know, that how much J. Edgar Hoover played in the destruction of the Panthers, I didn't know, or I wasn't sure of, and I certainly didn't know that he documented it. That it was not like some rumor, you know, like something that we believe that's not true. I mean, there were documents that we used in the film, you know, where J. Edgar Hoover talks about how he wants to pit Eldridge Cleaver against Huey Newton. How he says he wants to pit spouse against spouse. That he has another memo where they say, you know, do anything that you can, just don't let it get back that it's the FBI doing this. So, you know, I think it wasn't clear how well documented it was that the FBI targeted the Panthers and did anything they could to destroy them.
The cultural piece, talk a little bit about what you depicted in the film when you showed how much the Panthers played into the culture of the 60s as well as the Black is Beautiful culture. How essential were they? I mean, we know how essential they were politically, but talk about how essential they were culturally to the era of the 60s in America.
Well, one of the geniuses of the Black Panther Party was the look. You know, I mean, that was so distinctive. You know, the black leather jacket, the afro, the sunglasses, the beret cocked to the side. I mean, that was in such counterpoint to, you know, the traditional civil rights movement of Martin Luther King and, you know, Ralph Abernathy and those guys, you know, who had suits and ties and were very proper. And actually, you know, that was part of their strategy. You know, was to look very proper and to tell the women, you know, to always wear dresses, and sometimes they even wore little white gloves. You know, that was part of that strategy of that part of the civil rights movement. The Panther strategy was different. The Panther strategy was like, you know, we have this other look, this youthful look, this hipper look. You know, this look that you know, you saw somebody walking down the street today in that look, you'd be like, man, that guy looks hip. You know, right, so I mean, it was an incredible look. It had this kind of lasting cultural impact. You know, and it was important, I think, for people, you know, that was part of their recruitment tool. You know, like you saw that look, you were like, oh my God, you know, who are these guys? I got to find out about them. You know, I want to be that. I want to look like that. So
that's true. In the film, you have Kathleen Cleaver, who was a major part of the film. She was part of the female leadership, or the leadership in general, of the Black Panther Party. But there are also other factions of the leadership that were not happy when they seen the finished product. How do you deal with criticism of the film, particularly the main criticism that I've heard about the film was the depiction of Huey at the end. What do you, as the filmmaker, how do you see that, and what do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that everybody has a right to their opinion. That's what I say to that. I think that, when we started the film, we knew that there was no way that everybody was going to agree on it. I think that, you can close your eyes and try to imagine a film that all Panthers are going to agree on. Right. That's impossible. So, we did our best to tell the story. We've probably showed it to over 200 Panthers that at least have seen the film. We probably have 3 Panthers who detract from the film.
That's
so that's great odds. Those are incredible odds. But I also think that, part of what people have to understand is one of the things that we were really trying to do was to talk about the rank and file, and to talk about what it meant to be kind of an everyday Panther. So our film is not, I hope, top down, it's bottom up, and that's what we were trying to do, and I hope we accomplished that.
I definitely think you accomplished that, and as a younger person that wasn't alive during that generation or during that era, I learned a lot from the film. I know a lot of people in the film, so the stories weren't completely new, but I liked how you put them together. I like how you shaped them, and my 3-year-old daughter's in the theater right now, and she might not remember a whole lot, but I want her to remember that this is important to our people and important to this area, Oakland, California, where the Panthers come from.
Yeah, I think that, one other thing I would say, we did some screenings last night. Emory Douglas was there, and I thought one of the things that he said was great. He said that the Panther story is not a blueprint for young people. That what the Panther story should do is inspire young people, and that's what we wanted to do.
The United States government has set forth basic requirements for a healthy breakfast. The Black Panther Party, operating without government funds, has established a nationwide free breakfast for children program.
Mac Dre.
Mac Dre.
Mac Dre.
Mac Dre.
Style and just the way he was doing his music and the story he was telling was off the chains.
I'm just a big Dre fan in general. It's of his style, of his aura, what he brought to the game as far as being yourself, doing you.
He captured people's imagination and he symbolized a musical era.
He changed the whole thing, man.
He let his nuts hang over his shoulder. He spoke his mind. It was dirty cops.
It's at the height of the crack era. It's at the height of police repression.
Got pulled over by about 35 FBI agents. They said that we was out in Fresno plotting on robbing a bank.
He ended up getting found guilty for conspiracy, and mainly based on those lyrics. Either you go to prison for 5 years or you snitch and you won't get any time. Well, he refused to do that.
They sent me to the pen for 5 years for a crime that was never committed. I ain't no bank robber, but that 5 years had me thinking maybe I should have did it.
But the party is out here if you really want to know about it. You really want to know where it's at? You're here.
The legend is the tale that can be left behind way after they're gone. And this thing still goes on. People still play his music.
Rest in peace, Mac Dre. One of the best ever.
I said, here come the police. Y'all better run, fool. As soon as I said that, the police drew down on us all. Now I'm at the county jail with just one phone call.
If you don't know, now you know. Church.